The alien ships appeared without warning in the skies above Proxima Centauri, be massive obsidian vessels that absorbed light rather than reflected it. They descended through the colony's atmosphere like silent predators. Lieutenant Commander Juan Park stood at the command center's viewport, watching as the colony's defense systems activated. Energy weapons fired uselessly at the alien hulls, the beams seemingly swallowed by their black surfaces. "What are they?" asked Jinwoo, her second in command. "Unknown," Juan replied, her voice steady despite the fear building inside her. "Command is calling them the Void Collective." The colony's alarms blared as the first alien landing craft breached the outer defensive perimeter. 3,000 colonists lived in the biodomes and underground habitats of Proxima Centauri, humanity's furthest permanent settlement. Now they were scrambling for shelter or evacuation ships that Juwan knew would never escape. All non-essential personnel to emergency bunkers, she ordered over the colony-wide communication system. Security teams to defensive positions. Reports flooded in from across the colony. The aliens moved with mechanical precision, ignoring conventional weapons. They weren't killing colonists. Instead, they were capturing them, dragging unconscious bodies back to their ships. "They're after us," Jinwoo realized. "Not the colony. Not our resources. They want humans." 6 hours after the initial attack, the command center was one of the last secure locations. Juwan locked the blast doors as the security cameras showed alien forms moving through the corridors outside. They walked on 2 legs but moved with an unnatural fluidity, their bodies covered in dark, segmented armor. "Jinwoo, I need you to access the quantum communications array," Juwan said, checking her weapon. "Send everything we have about these attackers back to Earth." "Earth? Nobody's lived there for generations," Jinwoo replied, confused. "The central colonies would be a better." "No," Juwan interrupted. "Earth specifically. Use my command authorization and attach this code sequence." She transferred a string of characters from her personal device. "It's a special protocol. Just do it." Jinwoo worked quickly at the communication station, while Juwan watched the security feeds. The aliens had reached the outer doors of the command center and were cutting through. "Message sent," Jinwoo confirmed. "What was that code?" Juwan took a deep breath. "Something I hoped we'd never need. Earth Protocol Lazarus." "I don't understand," Jinwoo said. "Before humanity expanded to the stars, Earth created contingencies for extinction-level events. Super soldiers in suspended animation, waiting for a signal that civilization had fallen." Juwan checked her weapon again. "I never thought I'd be the one to wake them." The blast doors began to glow red as the aliens cut through from the other side. Jinwoo took up position beside Juwan, his own weapon ready. "How long until help arrives?" he asked. "If anyone receives the signal, months, maybe years," Juwan replied honestly. "We just have to hold out until." The doors collapsed inward. Alien forms surged through the opening, moving faster than human reflexes could track. Jinwoo fired, his energy weapon briefly illuminating the command center before an alien projectile struck him in the chest. He collapsed without a sound. Juwan retreated to the communications array, firing as she moved. One alien fell, then another, but there were too many. A burning sensation spread through her leg as something struck her. She fell against the console, her vision blurring. With her remaining strength, Juwan activated the emergency beacon, broadcasting on all frequencies. Her blood-stained fingers pressed the transmit button as she spoke her final message. "They've breached the central dome. Everyone else is gone. This is the last human outpost in the Proxima system. I repeat, we are the last. If anyone receives this, Earth Protocol Lazarus is now authorized." The signal shot outward at light speed, beginning its 4.2-year journey to Earth. As Juwan lost consciousness, the aliens surrounded her. Unlike Jinwoo, they didn't kill her. Instead, they attached something to the base of her skull and her body went rigid as alien technology interfaced with her nervous system. Deep in the Himalayan mountains on a nearly abandoned Earth, ancient systems monitored the cosmos. When Juwan's desperate message finally arrived years later, automated systems sprang to life. Power flowed to long-dormant facilities buried beneath rock and ice. Inside a hidden bunker, frost began to melt from 12 cryogenic chambers. In the first pod, Commander Tahian Kang's eyes snapped open after 3 centuries of dreamless sleep. His enhanced body shuddered as it returned to life. The facility's artificial intelligence announced in an emotionless voice, "Protocol Lazarus activated. Human extinction event confirmed." Tahian's first breath in 300 years came as a gasp. Humanity's last defense had awakened. Tahian's muscles burned as he pushed himself up from the cryogenic pod. His vision cleared slowly, revealing a chamber filled with identical units arranged in a circle. Frost still clung to the other 11 pods as their revival sequences continued. "System status," he croaked, his voice rough from centuries of disuse. "All systems operational," replied the facility's eye. "Revival protocols proceeding as designed. Current date is April 14, 2525. Taeyeon steadied himself against his pod. 300 years. They had slept for 300 years, waiting for a signal that should never have come. Medical drones approach, offering nutrient solutions and performing basic health scans. Taeyeon's genetically enhanced body was already adapting, repairing cellular damage from the long hibernation. He drank the bitter solution and felt strength returning to his limbs. The second pod opened with a hiss of escaping gases. Jisoo emerged, her tactical enhancement neural implants already glowing faintly beneath her skin. Her eyes, designed to process battlefield information at superhuman speeds, darted around the chamber as she oriented herself. "Commander," she said, recognizing Taeyeon immediately. "It actually happened." "Yes," he replied simply. "Humanity has fallen." As the other pods activated one by one, Taeyeon made his way to the command center. Dust covered ancient displays that now flickered back to life. The facility had been built to last centuries without maintenance, its nuclear power source still functioning at optimal levels. "Show me what happened," he ordered. The main screen filled with historical data. Earth's population had dwindled as humanity expanded outward to the stars. First Mars, then the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Eventually, breakthrough propulsion technology had opened the path to nearby star systems. Earth had become a memorial world, most of its surface returning to wilderness as humans sought new homes among the stars. Until something found them. The distress signal from Proxima Centauri played for all to hear as the rest of the team gathered in the command center. Minho, whose skin could alter its pigmentation and texture for perfect camouflage. Dohyun, whose muscles had been modified for superhuman strength. Yoonha, the intelligence specialist with enhanced sensory perception. Each of them had been modified for war in ways that had been deemed too extreme for regular military use. "The Void Collective," Yoonha said, analyzing the fragmented data from Lieutenant Commander Park's final transmission. They appeared without warning at the outer colonies and began working their way inward. "Not destroying," Subin noted, her cybernetic eyes scanning the reports. "Harvesting." Taeyeon pulled up a galactic map showing human settlements. Colony after colony had gone dark over the past 5 years. The map ended with data from just before their revival, showing only a handful of human outposts still transmitting. "We need to know what we're fighting," said Hyunjin, the pilot, his neural interfaces designed to connect directly with advanced spacecraft. "And we need a ship." "The orbital defense platform should still be operational," Taeyeon said, "and it houses the stealth carrier we were meant to use if Lazarus was ever activated." The team moved with purpose now, retrieving specialized equipment from storage vaults. Weapons designed to work against unknown alien physiologies. Armor that could adapt to different environments. Communication devices that could not be intercepted or jammed by conventional means. "Why us?" asked Jihoon, the communications specialist, as he calibrated his equipment. Why wake 12 soldiers when humanity had entire fleets? Because we're not just soldiers, Taehyun replied. We're something else, something humanity created when they feared extinction might come. He accessed his personal file, revealing the truth of their creation. Each of them had been enhanced beyond normal human limits, their DNA modified with traits that pushed the boundaries of what was considered human. They had been placed in suspended animation, not only as a last defense, but because their existence raised too many ethical questions. We were designed to be unpredictable, Taehyun explained, to think and fight in ways no enemy could anticipate. That's why we were chosen for Lazarus. Below the facility, automated transport systems activated. A passage opened to a launch bay that would take them to the surface. This is what we were made for, Taehyun told his team. To fight when everyone else has fallen. To be humanity's last hope. Jisoo stepped forward, her face resolute. Then let's show this Void Collective what humans can do when they have nothing left to lose. As they prepared to leave the facility that had been their tomb and cradle for 3 centuries, warning lights flashed. External sensors had detected movement on the surface. Something was coming. We've been asleep too long, Yoonha warned, checking the readings. They've already found Earth. The surface of Earth was not as abandoned as Taehyun had expected. Forests had reclaimed cities, and wildlife thrived in the absence of a large human population. But there were also signs of the Void Collective, strange metallic structures that seemed to be analyzing the planet. They're assessing Earth for harvesting, Yoonha said as they watched from their hidden transport. But they haven't started a full invasion yet. That gives us time, Taehyun replied. We need to reach orbit without being detected. Their transport moved silently through mountain passes, using the natural cover of the Himalayas. Hanjin controlled the vehicle with his mind, his neural implants connecting directly to the systems. His enhanced reflexes allowed him to navigate terrain that would have been impossible for normal pilots. The orbital defense platform is still active, Ji-hoon confirmed, monitoring communications. Automated systems recognize our Lazarus codes. It's preparing for our arrival. They traveled for 3 days, moving only at night to avoid detection. During daylight hours, they studied what little information they had on the Void Collective, trying to understand their enemy. They don't seem interested in Earth's resources, Subin noted, only in finding the remaining humans. That matches what we know from the colonies, Taehyun agreed. They want us, not our planets. On the 3rd night, they'd reached the abandoned space elevator in what had once been the Pacific Ocean. Now it stood like a silent monument, reaching from a small island up to orbit. The team loaded their equipment into the elevator car, and Ji-hoon activated the ancient machinery. Prepare for rapid ascent, Taehyun warned. Once we start moving, they might detect us. The elevator car shot upward at tremendous speed, designed to reach orbit in under an hour. Halfway through their journey, alarms sounded. We've been spotted, Jisoo reported, looking at tactical displays. 2 void vessels moving to intercept. How long until we reach the platform? Taehyun asked. 20 minutes, Kunjin replied. They'll reach us before then. Taehyun turned to Minho. Time to test your abilities. You and I will go outside and buy us time. The 2 soldiers sealed their specialized armor and exited through an airlock. Using magnetic grips, they climbed onto the exterior of the elevator car. The wind at this altitude was brutal, but their enhanced bodies could withstand the conditions. The void ships approached, sleek black crafts that seemed to absorb the sunlight. They fired energy weapons at the elevator cable above. Minho's skin changed color and texture to match the elevator's exterior, making him nearly invisible. He fired his long-range weapon, designed to disrupt energy systems. The first shot struck one of the void ships, causing it to falter momentarily. Taehyun launched himself from the elevator using small propulsion units in his armor. He soared through the thinning atmosphere toward the second ship, a daring move that no regular human would attempt. His armor protected him from the cold and pressure as he reached the ship and attached magnetic charges to its hull. He pushed away just as the charges detonated, creating a cascade of explosions along the ship's surface. Both void vessels retreated, damaged but not destroyed. "That won't hold them for long," Taeyeon said as he made his way back to the elevator. "But it should give us enough time." The elevator car docked with the orbital platform 30 minutes later. The team hurried through pressurized corridors, finding the station exactly as it had been left centuries ago. Automated systems had kept everything in perfect working order. Hyunjin led them to the hangar bay where the stealth carrier _Dauntless waited. The ship was a marvel of technology, designed to be undetectable by any known means when its stealth systems were active. "She's beautiful," Hyunjin whispered as they approached the sleek vessel. His implants were already connecting with the ship's systems, establishing the neural bond that would make him one with the craft. They boarded quickly, each member taking their assigned positions. The ship's interior came to life as systems activated, recognizing the Lazarus team's unique biometric signatures. Preparing for departure, Hyunjin announced from the pilot's chair. "Stealth systems online. FTL drives charging." Through the viewport, they could see more void ships approaching the platform. "They know we're here," Jisoo warned. "Let them come," Taeyeon replied. "By the time they reach us, we'll be gone." The Dauntless detached from its docking clamps and glided silently out of the hangar. Its stealth systems made it invisible to both visual observation and sensor scans. As the void ships swarmed the platform, the Dauntless slipped past them undetected. "Course set for Proxima Centauri," Hyunjin confirmed. "FTL drives ready." Taeyeon looked back at Earth one last time before giving the order. "Take us out, Hyunjin. It's time to hunt." The stars stretched into lines as the Dauntless accelerated to faster than light speed. Their journey to save humanity had begun. 19 days passed aboard the Dauntless as it raced toward Proxima Centauri. The Lazarus team spent every hour preparing for what they would face. They studied the limited data on the Void Collective and created detailed battle plans for every scenario they could imagine. "We're approaching the Proxima system," Hyunjin announced, his eyes glowing faintly as he communicated with the ship's systems. "Stealth systems at maximum. No signs of detection." The team gathered on the bridge, watching as the main screen showed their approach. Proxima Centauri had been transformed. Where once stood human colony domes, now strange spire-like structures reached toward the sky. Dark vessels orbited the planet, each larger than the biggest human battleships. "I'm detecting unusual energy patterns," said Yuna, her enhanced senses analyzing the data. "They've turned the entire colony into some kind of processing center." "What are they processing?" asked Taeyeon. Yuna's face paled. "Human neural patterns. They're using people as computing resources." "Can you locate Lieutenant Commander Park?" Taeyeon asked. Yunho worked the sensors for several minutes before responding. "I'm detecting a human signature in the central structure that matches her profile. She's alive, but her neural patterns are unusual. They've connected her to their systems somehow." Taeyeon studied the colony layout. "We need to get in there, extract Park, and learn what she knows about the enemy." "Direct assault would be suicide," Jisoo said, reviewing the tactical situation. "Even with our enhancements, we're outnumbered thousands to 1. "Then we don't assault," Taeyeon replied. "We infiltrate." They formulated a plan that would use each team member's unique abilities. The Dauntless would remain in stealth orbit, while a small shuttle took Taeyeon, Minho, Doyeon, and Yunha to the surface. The others would provide support from the ship. Hours later, the shuttle slipped through the planet's automated defenses, its stealth systems masking it from detection. They landed in a ravine 3 kilometers from the central processing facility. "Remember, this is extraction only," Taeyeon reminded the team as they prepared their equipment. "We get Park and get out. No heroics." Minho's skin shifted color and texture to match the alien landscape as he scouted ahead. The others followed, their movements precise and silent. When they encountered a void patrol, they froze as Minho created a diversion by manipulating his skin to create a heat signature 100 meters away. The patrol diverted to investigate. Their security is focused outward, Yunha whispered. They don't expect threats from inside the colony. They reached the perimeter of the central facility, a massive structure pulsing with blue energy. Do-Yun used his enhanced strength to pry open a maintenance access point, and they slipped inside. The interior was unlike anything they had seen, organic-looking cables intertwined with advanced technology. And everywhere, suspended in gel-like chambers, were humans, colonists preserved like specimens, their brains connected to the alien network. "This is worse than we thought," Yumha said, scanning the facility. "They're not just using human bodies. They're extracting human consciousness, using our minds as processing nodes." Tae-Yun forced himself to focus on the mission. "Where's Park?" Yunha pointed toward the center of the facility. "That way. She's in some kind of central hub." They moved deeper into the complex, avoiding patrols of alien guards. The Void Collective members were humanoid in basic shape, but moved with an unsettling mechanical precision. Their bodies seemed to be a fusion of organic matter and technology. "They've evolved beyond a distinction between biological and mechanical," Yunha observed. "It explains why they're interested in human minds." At the center of the facility, they found what they were looking for. Juwon Park hung suspended in a web of cables, her eyes open but unseeing. Unlike the other colonists, she wasn't in a gel chamber. Her body was directly connected to the alien systems, dozens of cables attached to her spine and skull. "She's functioning as an interface," Yumha said, scanning her, a translation layer between human and void systems. Tae-Hyun approached cautiously. "Lieutenant Commander Park, can you hear me?" Juwon's eyes suddenly focused, awareness returning to them. "Lazarus personnel," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "You came. We're getting you out," Tae-Hyun said. "Can you be disconnected safely?" Juwon's eyes darted to Yumna. "There's a sequence. She'll see it in my neural patterns." Yumna studied Juwon's connections, then carefully began detaching them in a specific order. As each cable was removed, Juwon gasped in pain but remained conscious. "Hurry," Do-Hyun warned from his position at the entrance. "We've triggered some kind of alert." The final cable detached, and Juwon collapsed into Tae-Hyun's arms. He lifted her effortlessly, his enhanced strength making her weight insignificant. "We have what we came for," he said. "Now we run." They fought their way back through the facility, Do-Hyun clearing a path with controlled bursts of inhuman strength. Minho used his camouflage abilities to confuse pursuers, appearing as void soldiers to create chaos. When they reached the shuttle, Juwon gripped Tae-Hyun's arm. "I know their weakness," she said, her voice stronger now. "I was part of their system. I know how to fight them." The shuttle docked with the Dauntless as alarms blared throughout the ship. The Void Collective had finally detected them, and 3 alien vessels were moving to intercept. "Get us out of here," Tae-Hyun ordered as he carried Juwon to the medical bay. Hyunjin's fingers flew across the controls, his neural implants glowing as he communicated directly with the ship's systems. The Dauntless accelerated away from Proxima Centauri, FTL of drives charging as the alien ships closed in. "They're locking weapons," Jisoo warned from tactical. "FTL in 5 seconds," Hyunjin responded. The first alien weapon fired, a beam of dark energy that narrowly missed the Dauntless. Then the stars stretched into lines as the ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, leaving the Void Collective vessels behind. In the medical bay, Yunho worked to stabilize Juwon. The lieutenant commander's body showed signs of the trauma it had endured as part of the alien network. Neural scars marked where the connections had been, and her muscles had atrophied from lack of use. "Her mind is intact," Yunha reported as Tae-Hyun entered. "But she's been through something no human was meant to experience." Juwon's eyes opened. "Commander Kang," she said, her voice stronger now. I need to tell you what I learned. The team gathered around as Jiwan explained what she had discovered during her time connected to the Void Collective. They're not just harvesting humans, she said. They're afraid of us. The Void Collective is a hive mind, built on perfect logic and predictability. Human minds are chaotic to them, unpredictable in ways they can't comprehend. They're studying us to understand that unpredictability, to eliminate it as a threat. Why would they fear unpredictability? Asked Subin. Because it's the one thing they can't defend against, Jiwan replied. Their entire civilization is based on calculation and certainty. They can predict and counter any logical attack. But humans don't always act logically. We take risks. We make intuitive leaps. We do things that make no sense but somehow work. Taehyun understood immediately. And that's what we were designed to be. Super soldiers who could think in ways no enemy could predict. Jiwan nodded. You're their worst nightmare. Enhanced humans with all the unpredictability they fear, but stronger, faster, more resilient. You said there are still free human colonies, Taehyun said. Where? Jiwan used the ship's systems to display a map. Here, here, and here. Small outposts that haven't been discovered yet, but they won't last long alone. Taehyun studied the map, a plan forming in his mind. Then we give them something the Void Collective won't expect. We make ourselves known. That's suicide, Jihoon objected. They'll hunt us down. Exactly, Taehyun replied. They'll focus on us instead of the remaining colonies, and while they're hunting 12 super soldiers, those colonies will have time to prepare to adapt. Jisoo nodded in understanding. We become a symbol, a rallying point. More than that, Taehyun said. We become the resistance. They worked quickly, preparing a message to be broadcast across all frequencies used by human colonies. Jiwan helped them encode it to bypass Void Collective monitoring systems. When everything was ready, Taehyun recorded the message himself. This is Commander Taehyun Kang of Earth Protocol Lazarus. Humanity is not defeated. Earth has awakened its defenders. We are fighting back against the Void Collective, and we need every surviving human to join us. Find us. Join us. Resist. The message shot outward from the Dauntless, transmitted to every corner of human space. For several days, there was no response. Then, gradually, signals began to return. I'm receiving transmissions, Jihoon reported with growing excitement. From hidden colonies, from resistance cells on occupied worlds. They're answering our call. But the most surprising response came from Earth itself. As the Dauntless returned to their home planet, they detected new power signatures activating beneath other mountain ranges, beneath ancient cities. More Lazarus facilities, Yoonha said in disbelief as she analyzed the readings. We weren't the only ones. Taehyun wasn't entirely surprised. 12 soldiers was never going to be enough to save humanity. We were just the first wave. As they watched, more signatures appeared across Earth. Dozens, then hundreds of super soldiers, each group with different enhancements, different specialties. An army that had slept for centuries, waiting for this moment. The first of these new teams reached the Dauntless as it orbited Earth. Their leader, Commander Sunho, greeted Taehyun with a warrior's respect. We received your message, Sunho said. Earth's defenders are awakening everywhere. The Void Collective thought they were harvesting the last humans. Instead, they triggered the awakening of humanity's greatest weapons. Taehyun looked around at his team, at Jiwan who had survived against all odds, at the new allies gathering around them. The Void Collective fears human unpredictability, he said. Let's show them exactly why they should be afraid. From Earth, humanity's ancient homeworld, the resistance spread outward to the stars. The war to reclaim their future had begun.